So read this problem. We have to solve this problem now. Determine the probability of a card being either a red or king when one card is drawn from regular deck of 52 cards. So how can we solve this problem? We have to find the probability of a card being either a red or a king. Okay, how many cards we have? 52 cards. The total number of cards is equal to 52. So here I am typing the solution in parallel to the explanation. The total number of cards is equal to 52. What is the next step? What is the next step? We have to find the probability of the card being either a red or a king if we draw the one card from the regular deck of 52 cards. So how many red cards we have? Among these 52 cards, among these 52 total number of cards, how many red cards we have? How many king cards we have? So consider these two as separate events. For example, there are 26 red cards and 26 black cards. Okay. Among the 52 cards, 26 cards are in red color. The remaining 26 cards are in black color. Okay. So here, let us assume that probability of A is equal to how much? Here event A can be defined as drawing a red card from the deck of 52 cards. So P of A is equal to 26 red cards we have among 52 total number of cards, which is equal to 26 by 52. How much we have? 26 by 52. What is the value of P of A? 1 by 2, isn't it? So 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. Okay. Next, what is the next step? How can we solve for P of B, probability of B? What is meant by B here? Event B. Event B can be defined as drawing a king card from the regular deck of 52 cards. Okay. How many king cards we have? In the deck we have 4 king cards. So probability of B can be written as 4 by 52 because we have 4 king cards among total 52 cards, which is equal to 4 by 52 is equal to 1 by 13. 1 by 13, isn't it? So here drawing a red color card is event A, drawing a king card is event B. So for both events A and B, the probabilities are calculated. Okay, P of A is equal to 0.5, P of B is equal to 1 by 13. These are the values. Okay, what we have got after calculating the probabilities of events A and B separately. Okay, now what we have to calculate? This is some part of problem, this is not the actual solution. What we have to calculate? We have to calculate the probability of drawing a card which is in red color or which is a king card. Okay, so either a red or king means this problem can be solved easily by applying which theorem? Can you identify the theorem? Already I explained 3 theorems in the previous classes. What are those 3 theorems? First theorem is addition theorem on probability. Second, mute yourself. First theorem is addition theorem on probability. Second theorem is total probability theorem. Third one is Bayes theorem. Okay, so we have totally 3 theorems. So by which theorem we can solve this problem? We have to identify that. Okay, so this problem can be solved easily by applying addition theorem on probability. Addition theorem on probability. So according to addition theorem on probability, P of A union B can be written as P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. That is the formula. Okay, so P of A union B means here event A and event B both are combined. That means both events should occur at the same time. So P of A union B can be written as P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. Already we have calculated the values of P of A and P of B. Now what we have to calculate in the next step? P of A intersection B. So P of we have to identify the intersection symbol now. Okay, we have got the intersection symbol from the symbols. A intersection B is equal to how much? Probability of A intersection B. A intersection B means common part or common portion for the events A and B. Okay, event A is drawing a red card, event B is drawing a king card. So among 26 red cards, how many king cards we have? Okay, actually we have 4 king cards. 2 are in red color, 2 are in black color. Okay, in the regular deck of 52 cards, we have 4 king cards. Among those 4 king cards, we have 2 king cards in red color and the remaining 2 king cards in black color. So what we have to write here? 2 by 52, isn't it? Because only 2 cards in 2 king cards here are in red color. So you have to write 2 divided by what is the sample space? How many cards we have? 52. So this is equal to 2 by 52 means 1 by 26. Okay. So this is called P of A intersection B. Now we have to apply the theorem. So probability of A union B is equal to probability of A union B is equal to, what is the formula according to addition theorem on probability? P of A plus P of B minus P of A intersection B. So now let us copy this one. So next, what is the next step? What is the next step? You have to substitute the values. So which is equal to P of A is 0.5. That means 1 by 2. 1 by 2 plus P of B means 1 by 13. 1 by 13 minus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 13 minus P of A intersection B is 2 by 52 or 1 by 26. You may write anything. Okay, 2 by 52. So next, which is equal to, you have to calculate the answer and tell me the answer. Okay, here once all of you read the problem once. All of you read the problem once. Determine the probability of a card being either a red or king card when one card is drawn from a regular deck of 52 cards. Either a red or a king means you have to take the union for the two events A and B. Here the event A is defined as drawing a red card which is in red color. Here event B can be defined as drawing a king card from the regular deck of 52 cards. So both events are combined here, and we have applied the theorem also, and we have got the solution. Okay, so by solving this you will get 28 by 52. 28 by 52. You can solve further also. You need not to write the same answer. 28 by 52. Or you may write, so you may write 28 by 52, or you can solve further also. We can simplify further also. No need to worry about that. Okay. So here all these problems are given in the material. So you have to note down the problems in notebook also. Let us go for second problem. Did you understand this problem? Do you have any doubts? If you have any doubts, you can raise the hand now itself. I will discuss. Okay, this problem is very simple. Very easy problem. Okay, shall I move on to next one? Shall I move on to next one? Anyone can respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next, let us solve for second problem. Here, the second problem, all of you read this problem once. An urn contains 6 white and 9 black balls. If 4 are to be selected randomly without replacement, what is the probability that first 2 selected are white and last 2 are black? Here, in the statement, it is given that without replacement means you need not to replace the ball. Okay, you have, if you pick the ball, you can keep it with you. You need not to replace the ball in the urn. Okay, that is the meaning of without replacement. So how can we solve this problem? How can we solve this problem? We have to select the 4 balls randomly without replacement. Okay, so among the 4 balls, 2 balls should be in white color and the 2 balls should be in black color. What is the probability for this? Already you know the combination, permutations and combinations, you know, isn't it? According to that concept, you can solve this problem. So how can we select 2 white balls from the 6 white balls? How can we select 2 white balls from the 6 white balls? How many combinations? So 2 white balls, selecting 2 white balls from 6 white balls. Is equal to how much? Selecting 2 white balls from 6 white balls is equal to how much? How can we calculate? How many combinations we get?
6C2.
Yes, very good. 6C2. Okay. So 2 white balls can be selected from 6 white balls in 6C2 ways. Okay. 6C2 ways. Okay. Next, how can we select 2 black balls from 9 black balls? How many combinations we have? Again, the same concept, 9C2 ways. Okay. So selecting 2 black balls from 9 black balls. We have totally 9 number of black balls. Is equal to how many ways? 9C2 ways. So 9C suffix 2. Okay. So selecting 2 white balls from 6 white balls can be done in 6C2 ways. Selecting 2 black balls from 9 black balls can be done in 9C2 ways. So now what is the required probability? What is the probability? Required probability is equal to probability is equal to, tell me the answer. All of you are familiar with permutations and combinations, isn't it? So how can we calculate the probability for this? How can we solve this problem? Selecting 2 white balls from 6 white balls. Okay, that is first thing. Into selecting 2 black balls from 9 black balls. So 9, this can be done in 9C2 ways. 9C2 ways. So this is the numerator. What about denominator? 6C2 into 9C2. That is numerator. Because we are selecting 2 white balls and 2 black balls. Okay. What about denominator? How many balls we have? In the urn we have 6 white balls and 9 black balls. So how many number of balls we have? Totally 6 plus 9, isn't it? So how much? 6 plus 9? 15. So among 15 balls, we are selecting 4 balls. So 15C4. Okay. Total number of balls is equal to 6 plus 9. Whatever may be the color. Okay, here color is not important. While writing the denominator, the color is not important. We have the total number only. So 6 plus 9 is equal to 15. Among the 15 balls, we are drawing or we are selecting 4 balls. So 15C4. So what is the answer? Can you solve this? What is the formula? Here I am writing the formula also. NCR is equal to what is the formula? N factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. Do you know that formula? Do you know the formula or not? NCR is equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. Isn't it? So n factorial. Go to symbols. N factorial divided by n minus r factorial into n minus r factorial. You can copy the symbol, same symbol, or you may take it from symbol n minus r factorial into r factorial. You can close the bracket. So according to this formula, try to solve the problem and tell me the answer. What is the formula? NCR is equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial into r factorial. According to this formula, you can solve the problem and tell me the answer. Solve for this and tell me the answer. 6C2 into 9C2 by 15C4. Solve for this. In the numerator, you may write 6 factorial by 4 factorial into 2 factorial into, again for 9C2, you have to write 9 factorial by 7 factorial into 2 factorial. That is numerator. What about denominator? What about denominator? 15 factorial by 11 factorial into 4 factorial. So anybody tell me the answer. You are not responding. $440 Harshita. 440 Harshita. Harshita,
Ma'am.
unmute
Yes,
yourself.
ma'am.
What is the answer?
0.395.
0.395.
395. Yes, ma'am.
Anybody? All of you got the same answer? All of you got the same answer or not? Anyone can respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 450 Ratnateja E. 450 Ratnateja E. Unmute yourself. 450 Ratnateja.
Ma'am.
Did you solve the problem or not?
No, ma'am. Solving, ma'am.
Stop the disturbance. Please stop the disturbance.
No, ma'am. Solving, ma'am.
Okay, according to this formula, you can solve the answer. You can solve for the answer and write it here. So now I am closing this. I will share the PDF file again. Okay, here problems are completed. Now let us start the concept of random variable. Okay, is my screen visible to you? Anybody respond?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the random variable. Let us start the actual syllabus here from this concept random variable. Okay, what is the definition of random variable? What is the definition of random variable? A random variable can be considered as a function that maps all events of sample space into points on the real axis. Okay, that is the definition of random variable. Now I will explain one example for this, then you can understand very easily the meaning of random variable. Okay, here within the brackets also it is the simplified definition is written here. That means it assigns a real number for all the outcomes in the sample space. What is the definition of sample space? What is the definition of sample space? Sample space means the total number of possible outcomes in a random experiment is called sample space. Okay, if you consider the random experiment, it may consist of any number of outcomes, possible outcomes. Okay, so the number of total possible outcomes in a random experiment is called sample space. The random variable assigns a real number for all the outcomes in the sample space. Okay, the random variable assigns a real number for all the outcomes in the sample space. Okay, it assigns a real number for all the outcomes in the sample space. Here, one example is given here. All of you see the example. What is the example considered here? Tossing two coins. Okay, till now we discussed about the random experiment for tossing a single coin, but here we are tossing two coins. So how many possible combinations we have? 2 power 2 combinations. Okay, if you toss a single coin, the head may appear or tail may appear. The total number of possible outcomes are 2 only. Please be in mute. Yes, tell me. Is my voice audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any problem?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Okay. So here we are tossing two coins. Two coins means we will have 2 power 2 combinations or 2 power 2 outcomes for this experiment. Okay. If you toss 3 coins, how many possible outcomes we have? 2 power 3. 2 power 3 means 8. 8 possible outcomes we have. Okay. If you toss 4 coins, you will have 2 power 4 possible outcomes we have in the sample space. Okay, so consider the experiment in which we toss two coins. So now let us define the sample space. Sample space can be represented with the letter capital S, which is equal to set HH comma TH comma HT comma TT. What this H and T indicates? Head means H means head, T means tail. So after tossing two coins, you may get both heads on two coins. Both heads may appear. Okay, heads may appear on both coins. Okay, that is the first outcome, first possible outcome. What is the next possible outcome? Tail may appear on first coin, head may appear on second coin. That is the second case, second possible outcome. What is the third possible outcome? Head may appear on first coin, tail may appear on second coin. That is the third possible outcome. Okay, what is the fourth possible outcome here? Tails may appear on both coins. Okay, so here we have 4 possible outcomes. Here we have 4 possible outcomes. Both may be heads. First one is tail and second one is head. First one is head and second one is tail, and both are tails. So we have 4 possible outcomes in the sample space. Now sample space is already defined here. Now let us move on to the definition of random variable. Let capital X be the random variable. Random variable can be represented with the capital letter only. Okay, you may take X, you may take Y, you may take Z, whatever whatever the letter you may take, but it should be a capital letter. Random variable can be represented with capital letter only. Here, in case of single random variable, you may take capital X to represent the random variable. In case of multiple random variables, I think in third unit we have multiple random variables. So in such case, we may take capital X, capital Y, capital Z like that. Okay. So here we are considering single random variable only. So let us assume that capital X be a single random variable. Okay. This random variable denotes the number of heads obtained in the 2 tosses. Okay, here the random variable is defined as getting the number of heads obtained in the 2 tosses. 2 tosses means while tossing the 2 coins. Okay, so X of HH, that means getting 2 heads. X of HH is one event. Here this event is assigned with a number 2, real number 2. Within the brackets it is written like this, both are heads. Okay, that means two heads we got. Okay, in the next case, X of HT is equal to X of TH is equal to, which value can be assigned for this? 1, because any one is head. Any one coin shows head. That is the meaning of this one. Okay, any one coin is showing head. One coin shows head and another coin shows tail. Okay, whatever may be the coin. So this can be assigned with the number 1. Next, X of TT is equal to 0. That means no coin is showing head. Okay, both coins are showing tails only. No coin is showing head. That's why this can be assigned with the number 0. Okay, here we have considered 3 points here: getting both the heads, getting one head, getting 0 heads. Okay, so here capital X can be written as set 0, 1, 2. That means getting 0 head, getting 1 head, getting 2 heads. Okay, so this the random variable can be defined like this. Now mapping the sample space to a real value. All of you see this diagram. Within the sample space, we have 4 possible outcomes. Both are tails. One is head and one is tail. So here also one is head and one is tail. Next one, both are heads. So these are the possible outcomes in sample space. What are the real values here? First one is 0, second one is 1, third one is 2. Getting 0 head, getting 1 head, getting 2 heads. So how can we map these two? TT means both are tails. That means there is no head. The number of heads is equal to 0. That's why this can be mapped to a real value 0. Okay. Next, observe the next 2 possible outcomes: TH and HT. Tail, head, head, tail. So these 2 events can be mapped with the value 1 because only one coin is showing head at a time. Only single coin is showing head at a time. That is the meaning of this. Next, both are heads. That means both coins show heads only after tossing. So HH can be mapped with 2. Okay, getting 2 heads. Okay, is it clear? So sample space of 2 coin experiment mapping to real value. The total number of possible outcomes in the sample space are mapped to real values. Okay, that is called random variable. Okay, the random variable assigns a real number for all the possible outcomes in sample space. That is the meaning of random variable, which is the criteria is satisfied here, isn't it? We have considered one experiment, that is tossing two coins at a time. Tossing two coins at a time. So how many possible outcomes we have? Both coins may show heads, both coins may show tails. One coin, first coin may show head and second coin may show tail. And fourth outcome is first coin may show tail and second coin may show head. So like that we have four possible outcomes. Those four possible outcomes are mapped with their corresponding real values. Okay, next we have to assign the probabilities for this. Okay, so consider the same example, assigning probability to a random variable. How can we assign a probability to a random variable? To explain this concept also, consider the same example, that is tossing two coins. Okay, so you have to consider the same example, that is same experiment, that is tossing two coins. If we toss two coins, then the sample space is same as above. So two heads, one is tail, one is head, one is head, one is tail, and both are tails. So these four are the possible outcomes in sample space. Okay, so all these events are equally likely. What is meant by the word equally likely? Each and every event has equal probability. Okay, each and every event has equal probability. Okay, so each and every event has equal probability. So the probabilities can be written like this: probability of TT is equal to probability of HT is equal to probability of TH is equal to probability of HH is equal to 1 by 4. Actually, the total value of probability is 1 only for any problem. After considering, after combining, after adding all the events in the given problem, you will get the probability 1 only. Okay, so that 1 is distributed uniformly for each and every event here. Okay, so all these events are equally likely means all these events have equal probability. So for each event, the probability value is 1 by 4 only. For each and every event, the probability is 1 by 4 only. Okay, so probability of getting no head, probability of TT. What is the value of probability of TT? 1 by 4. Okay, that is written here. Probability of TT is equal to 1 by 4, which implies that after applying this concept to random variable, you have to write like this: x is equal to 0, because the random variable x is defined as getting the number of heads. Okay, in this case there is no head, that's why you have to write 0 here. Getting no head, getting no head, that means both coins show tail only. Getting no head is nothing but probability of x is equal to 0. Getting no head means x is equal to 0, corresponding probability is 1 by 4. Okay, next point is probability of getting one head. That means only one coin show head, whereas remaining second coin shows tail. Okay, only one coin shows head and another coin shows tail. That is the point here. So probability of HT comma TH, these two events must be combined here, because first coin may show head, second coin may show tail, or second outcome is first coin may show tail, second coin may show head. So we have to combine these two events. What is the total probability after adding 1 by 4 and 1 by 4? You will get 1 by 2. So this can be written as probability of x is equal to 1. That means getting one head. Probability of x is equal to 1 means probability of getting one head. That means one coin is showing head, whereas remaining coin is showing tail. What is the probability for this? 1 by 2. Okay. Last point. What is the probability of getting 2 heads? What is the probability of getting 2 heads? So here both the coins are showing head only. So probability of HH is equal to 1 by 4. Okay. So this can be written as probability of X is equal to 2. X is equal to 2 means getting 2 heads. 2 coins are showing heads. So what is the probability for this? 1 by 4. This is the procedure for assigning probability to a random variable. Now we have to form a table. Okay, table means in the first row you have to consider random variable capital X. In the second row you have to write assigned probability P of X. Random variable X and the probability P of X. Okay, so here what are the values associated with this random variable? X is equal to 0, X is equal to 1, X is equal to 2. Okay, X is equal to 0 means getting no head, X is equal to 1 means getting 1 head, X is equal to 2 means getting 2 heads. Okay, so what are the corresponding probabilities? Assigned probability P of X. Already these are calculated, no? So getting 0 head means both are tails. What is the probability for this? 1 by 4. This 1 by 4 you have to write here. Okay. Next, P of X is equal to 1. That means getting 1 head. What is the probability here? 1 by 2. Next, what is the probability for getting 2 heads? Probability of X is equal to 2 is 1 by 4. So we have to form a table like this after assigning the probabilities to a random variable. Okay. Is it clear? Is the concept is clear? We have defined the random variable first of all, and we have mapped each and every possible outcome in sample space to a real value. After completing that process, we have assigned the probabilities for each for a random variable. We have assigned the probabilities to a random variable. Okay. So this one is also completed. Next, events defined by a random variable. Let us discuss this one also. We have 10 minutes time. So let us discuss these points in 5 minutes. Events defined by a random variable. Events defined by a random variable. How can we define an events by using a random variable? That is the concept here. Here random variable can be represented with the letter capital X only. Consider some fixed real value, that is small x. Okay, so let us consider an event in which the random variable capital X takes a value equal to small x, denoted by capital X is equal to small x. So how can we calculate probability for this? Probability of capital X is equal to small x. Okay, probability of capital X is equal to small x. That means the random variable capital X is taking the value of small x. Both are equal. Okay, that is the probability. Okay, probability of X equal to X means the random variable capital X is taking the value of small x. Whatever may be the value of small x, those values will be considered by capital X. Okay. Similarly, here one point is clear, probability of capital X equal to small x. But what about probability of capital X less than or equal to small x? What about the probability of capital X greater than small x? Okay, we have to define these two events also. Okay, probability of capital X less than or equal to small x means the random variable capital X is taking the value of x. In addition to that, the values which are less than small x. Okay, here less than or equal to is written here. Less than or equal to means the random variable capital X is taking the value of small x and the values which are less than small x also. Okay. Okay, in the third case, probability of capital X greater than small x. That means the random variable capital X is taking the values of greater than small x. Okay, so x may be any value. The values which are greater than small x must be considered here. We have to find the corresponding probability. This is another event. What about fourth event? What about fourth event? Probability of, here there are two values, small x1 and small x2. Here the random variable capital X is taking the value in between small x1 and small x2. Here capital X is taking the value, capital X is taking the values in between small x1 and small x2. In between the values. Okay, there is no equal to symbol here. There is no less than or equal to, only less than is written here. So capital X must take the values in between small x1 and small x2. In between the values of x1 and x2. Okay, so these are all the events. If you solve any example problem for this, then you will get clarity. So you need not to worry about this. Events defined by a random variable. We have discussed 4 events. What are those? Probability of capital X equal to small x. That means random variable is taking the values of small x. In the second event, probability of capital X less than or equal to small x means taking the values of a small x and the values which are less than small x. Okay. Next, third event is defined as probability of capital X greater than small x means the random variable is taking the values of small x which are greater than the value of x. Okay. Here the random variable capital X is taking the value which is greater than small x. Is it clear? Next, fourth event is defined as the random variable capital X is taking the value in between small x1 and small x2. Okay. Only in between the values. The values of x1 and x2 are not included because equal to is not present here. Only less than is present. Okay. So now it is clear, I think.